hour to drive there on a rough road with high pickup and four-wheel drive vehicle. Now, back in Lake County, the rancher's cow was out of the Harney Sheriff's Office jurisdiction. He called Lake and nearby Deschutes counties. He called the Oregon State Patrol, which also wouldn't respond. The Harney County people said that I could hire a vet to come out, the rancher says, but I really didn't want to be out there in the dark with the vet and no guns. The next day, Lake County deputy came to inspect the animal, but it was too late to take any blood samples. He recounts that the scene was incredibly strange. It's obvious the animal didn't do it, he says. I think whomever is responsible rely on the fact that we are so rural that they can't get the animal to a vet for a forensic exam fast enough to be able to cut through the skin and hide without getting into the belly. Takes a lot of skill and precision, said one of the rancher's hands, who first came upon the killed cow. Now, it kind of creeped me out. I definitely think it was someone, a pretty sick person. It wasn't an animal. No animal can cut skin around a belly like that. Also, the one person says there were no distinguishable foot, truck, or ATV part or prints or any other clues nearby. Also, the sheriff went on to say that he got really sick after he touched the dead cow. Now, the rancher says that the sheriff was the only person from the ranch who got sick and the only one who touched the cow. Also, a mysterious ice rings of Siberia's Lake Baikal are solved. The research team drilled through as much as 700 feet of solid ice to drop temperature recorders and flow detectors that were left in place for as long as 1.5 months. What they found was surprising. The sensor showed eddies flowing clockwise beneath the ice. The temperature sensor showed that these eddies were 2 to 4 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than the surrounding water. That combination forms a giant ice circle. Well, a new reaper of death dinosaur has been discovered. A new species of tyrannosaur that roamed the Earth 80 million years ago has been unearthed in Canada. Dating back to the Cretaceous period, this carnivorous reptile, the oldest known tyrannosaur ever found in North America, was around 8 feet tall and had teeth measuring 7 centimeters in length. The species is helping experts learn more about the history of tyrannosaurs and how they evolved from relatively small dinosaurs to gargantuan beasts like Tyrannosaurus rex. Bizarre monster galaxy created stars 1,000 times faster than the Milky Way. Then it mysteriously died. Discovery of an enormous ancient galaxy they've described as the monster, due to its size, age, and the incredible rate at which it formed stars, over 1,000 times faster than the Milky Way did. But the confusing thing is that one day it just stopped making stars altogether. The astronomers have no idea what caused the death of this strange cosmic monstrosity. Theory: a fungus ergot caused Salem witchcraft persecutions. Science proved eating contaminated rye bread can result in this disease. Evidence tends to support the theory that this was the primary cause of Salem's witchcraft mania. Ergot is a fungus found in some plants such as rye, the most common, wheat, and barley. Ergotism, also called St. Anthony's fire, is the name of the disease affecting people who eat contaminated grain. In past centuries, some victims of convulsive ergotism claimed to hear the devil speaking to them and were believed to be possessed, perhaps due to hallucinations or to torture inflicted on those accused because of other exhibited symptoms. People didn't know these symptoms were caused by food poisoning. Next news break, the next show.
From our compound, from the West Coast to the East Coast to worldwide, both on the internet and terrestrial radio, you're listening to Gary Anderson on Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark.
And we are back. Well, what do you think, sir, is going on with the government when it comes actually down to, well, all these sightings of UFOs? If we are being visited by something, either from another dimension, a parallel world, or what honestly do you think is going on?
Well, I think all of that. And when it comes to disclosure, it's like I said, it's already happened, and the moon is a big part of that, because if we look at the moon and we research that, we're just plain and simple will see they are there, and it's not us. First of all, the moon, it has a perfect round circle around Earth, and that is almost impossible to get. One scientist said there is 1 in a zillion to get that orbit. It's almost impossible. And then, of course, there was a Russian scientist that came out, 2 of them actually, Mikhail Vasin and Alexander Sherbakov. He wrote in the old Sputnik magazine in 1970, so they have known already back then. He wrote, the moon is of extraterrestrial origin and was placed there a long time ago and is not completely natural. Governments have known, but they have kept it from us.
Do you think the government is scared to go back to the moon? I got a funny feeling we were told not to go back.
I think the government probably don't really know much about that, or maybe they do, but NASA, they know, because their people, they were their people that was warned not to come back. And they haven't since then. So going back there now, we might just disturb somebody again, and they may be a little nervous about that.
Maybe they don't want us to know what's going on the moon.
Oh, absolutely. But you see now, it's unraveling because there are private industry that don't necessarily know much about that. They're going back there because there's resources up there, helium, and there's all kinds of minerals. And on the, look on what's on the ground that came back with the moon rocks. They have uranium-235, which is not natural in nature. They had brass they found in the material. That is an alloy. You can't find that in nature. And also Neptunium-237, there's unnatural materials all over the moon. So where did that come from? They even found titanium.
Yeah, that makes me wonder. I mean, now, granted, the moon has been there for a long time, even if it was a spaceship or whatever, or what have you. A lot of comets, asteroids going by it and crashing on it and what have you could deposit a lot of this stuff on it. But if it was man-made, well, not man-made, made by some civilization, that's the scary part. If it was, built and designed by a civilization, that tells me they have to be more than hundreds of years advanced, more than thousands of years, and more probably than tens of thousands of years advanced than we are.
Absolutely. In order to fly a ship like that, they had to be a little ahead of us. And in fact, even parking it, when what is it Michio Kaku says, that you have to get to civilization 2 a second, or civilization 2 in order to move planets around. So we're not even on 1 yet.
No, that
Close.
Yeah, well, even a 1 is the bottom of the scale, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe a lot of these spacecraft we're seeing are coming from, well, I hate to say it, from the moon.
Oh, a lot of them are, because there are reports. In fact, in the document that I told you about that you can write to NASA and get, they talk about they are on radar. They have seen ships going back and forth to the moon.
That's scary.
Yeah.
So,
but it's okay. I am not worried about it because I know the Germans are already having a base up there. On my website, you will find a picture, a NASA print of a huge building that is about a mile from one end to the other end. And it looks just like a swastika. And when the Germans got there, they found that thing. Because, the swastika, Hitler didn't invent that.
No.
That was an old Eastern religious symbol.
Yeah, Indian symbol.
Yeah,
yes.
and they found that building and they fell in love with it. So that's where they have their base, where they rebuilt some of that. And the thing about the moon is that we are told that there is no air up there. Yeah, they moved their lips again because I have NASA prints again showing persons on the moon walking on the surface. Right on that picture gallery on that website. You can go just scan through there and you'll get a little bit of a re-education. In fact, when it comes to some of these ships that is coming here, yeah, they are interdimensional. And not just that, some of them coming from the future. And they're coming back here to see, well, how's it going, guys?
Now, not very well.
Invite some of the Earthlings onto the ship, and there have been some, 2 occasions that I've read somebody saying that, yes, we were invited aboard, and they told us that they were not from this dimension, but also they were from the future.
Could that be?
Yeah, time travel is very possible. In fact, there is equipment being built right now. There's a guy on YouTube that he demonstrated how he puts a watch inside of the plasma bubble that he created in the middle of a bunch of laser beams and some magnetic generators, and the clock suddenly started going about 3 times faster than what it otherwise would. So, yeah, time travel is possible. In 2003, BBC Television came over to the United States and did a TV documentary on time travel with Michio Kaku and Green and another theoretical physicist and myself. And in there, I demonstrated a little time travel device that I've had some very strange experiences with. You can probably find it on the internet. I haven't looked at it for several years, quite a few years, but it's called Time Trip. And you can go look at that. In the back of one of my books that I've written on spiritual science, higher conscious thinking, and how to access the universal consciousness, I talk about time travel, and I talk, in fact, how you can do it. I explain some of the things that you can do in order to actually get into the future and meet yourself.
Yeah, I just wondered if you meet yourself, what would happen?
Well, we don't really know the dangers necessarily. I haven't really seen any. I would suggest, though, do not touch, do not shake hands with yourself, because the quantum mechanics says that you could create a quantum bridge that will snap you back into your past situation again, back to where you started. And it may not be a comfortable trip.
Yeah, it could be a deadly one, too.
I don't know.
I wouldn't want to find out.
Yeah. I wouldn't take the chance.
No, that's what I have James for. He can try it for us.